Alright friends, let's strap in for what might be 10 minutes of the dumbest discussion I will ever have on this YouTube channel, because I can't help myself. My lizard brain can't help but react to the drama and have to give my own opinion as well. We're all susceptible like that, so let's just have a little bit of fun and look at the dumpster fire that is the Destiny community once again. Now, if you opened up Satan's handbook at all in the last 5 days, aka Twitter, you may have seen a lot, and I do mean a lot, of the dumbest discussion to ever exist in the entirety of humanity, centering around a very innocent tweet from 3-time world's first raider, all-around great guy, and definitely one of the best PvE players of all time, saltagreppo. And now you may be wondering, what could saltagreppo say that could make literally tens of thousands of people hate him instantaneously? Did he just say he likes to kick puppies? Did he admit that he likes to burn down orphanages in his spare time? No, none of that. All he did was suggest that divinity might be a little too strong, makes PvE a little too easy, and is mandatory for the most effective boss clears on pretty much every single raid boss in the game. That's all he said. And he's correct. And he got absolutely thrown into the wood chipper by the community for saying it. Now listen, the good part about being currently unknown within the community, not having much of an audience, and therefore not being famous on Twitter, means that I can make ridiculous takes all that I want, and no one will care. So guess what we can do today? Respond to a lot of the BS, talk about the toxicity within the Destiny community, and guess what? I don't gotta worry about my mentions getting flooded with death threats because no one cares what I have to say. So if you want to help out and make that a reality where I do have to care, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment down below to help out with the YouTube algorithm. Now, I'm only going to linger on the whole divinity discussion for maybe about a minute because I'm a PvP guy. This is a PvP channel. I really don't care about your opinions about the PvE sandbox. But here are just some stone cold facts. Yes, you do not need to use divinity to clear anything in this game. That is true. However, please consider the context under which most of us do raids, nightfalls, lost sectors, any of the endgame PvE content. Why are we there 99% of the time? To farm gear. If you're farming gear, you want to farm at the highest efficacy humanly possible. You want to spend the least amount of time to get the most amount of rewards so that you can pull the slot machine to roll your exotics, roll your hand cannons, get your red borders from the raids, whatever it might be. You want to do things as fast as possible. And that means you need to be efficient. And if you want to be efficient, you are using the strongest stuff in the game. That is just a fact. If you're not using divinity, you are being slow. And being slow is being inefficient, which makes farming less efficient. That is why Div is mandatory. Because if you're not doing it, you're wasting time. Now, to some of you, wasting time may not matter. And by good God's grace, go and do raids with a bunch of white weapons. Godspeed. I hope you have a great time. Do it with your buddies. Do it with Rat Kings. No divinity in sight. Never a Galahorn or an Izanagi's. Do whatever you want with your time. That is what is your God-given right when you purchase this goddamn Forsaken game. But to tell other people, just don't use it, is to miss the forest for the trees so goddamn fast you are breaking the sound barrier. I mean, it's like going up to someone who's stressed out about their finances. You know, they're struggling to make ends meet. Maybe they can't pay their bills for the month. And be like, hey man, it's not a big deal. You don't have to pay your rent. There's nothing saying you have to. If you don't pay your rent, well, what's the worst that can happen? I mean, you're not gonna die. It's like, yeah, that may be true, sure. But I like to keep my house. My house makes me more efficient as a person. My house helps me do things that I would not be able to do otherwise. So, it kind of feels a little bit mandatory to pay my rent. Even though technically, I don't have to. That's really weird, isn't it? It's just like telling people just don't use it. It's just the dumbest argument because it does not engage with any of the information. And so on top of that, the mountains of harassment that saltagreppo and various other community members have faced for just voicing an opinion about the balance of PvE is staggering. And this kind of gets to the broader point of what I want to talk about. The Destiny community hates itself. There is a deep-rooted, toxic issue with this community where there is this division between, quote-unquote, the best players and the casuals. And this divide exists in pretty much any community, sure, but Destiny has the most exaggerated divide I have ever seen, where it is not uncommon to just go on the Destiny community Reddit and see posts about people just like legit sneering, getting vindictive, like straight up malicious joy out of quote-unquote sweaty players not liking the current meta, or not liking matchmaking in the Crucible or whatever, or complaining about X weapon in PvP being broken. And they'll be like, oh, well, it looks like you're just complaining because you can't get your 50 KD. Well, I, who works a 17-hour-a-week day job, who can only play for 30 minutes at a time before caring for my 6 children, get great joy about the current state of the PvP, and you would take that away from me. And it's like, dude, why are you being so vindictive about this? It's not that deep. The fact of the matter is, you should want to listen to the opinion of the best players in the game. Because, like it or not, the best players in the game are that for a reason. It means they have an understanding of the game that it goes beyond what a casual player might see. A casual player might not see certain balance issues, or see why they might be pernicious for the overall state of the meta. But when you're a top player, a top 5%, 1%, whatever, you play at such a high level that you notice these issues that can break the back of the game. So when someone like saltagreppo comes out, who is clearly one of the best PvE players in the world, and says, man, Div is such a problem, it trivializes the game. Yeah, he doesn't have to use it, but he knows that he's wasting his time by not using it. And when you're someone who speedruns, you're someone who competes in Worlds First, you're someone who does carries, anytime you're wasting time, you're wasting other people's times, or you're putting your chance at being number 1 at stake. And for what? For some like weird false pride by saying, well, I didn't use the meta and I still persevered. It's like, no, that's not how this works. Why don't we respect our best players in the community? I've never seen this before. If you went to Counter-Strike and you had this attitude where it's like, oh, well, the pro players seem to complain about the balance of the M4A1S versus the M4A4. Well, clearly they're just too sweaty and they don't understand how this benefits the casual player. And why would we ever listen to them? It's the sweaty pro players who continue to ruin the meta. It's like, what? No one does that. You don't complain about the NBA when, like, you know, LeBron James complains about a rule change because it might affect your, like, 3v3 rec league at fucking LA Fitness. That's not how this works. Alright, kind of as like a final thing I want to talk about for the last few minutes here. I think what really made me the angriest about this whole situation was when Dado made his response video to the whole drama. And Dado said something to me that just, like, it hit me right to the core. Dado said that he no longer makes videos about balance, or this might need a nerf, or this might need a buff, because he knows that the vitriolic response from the community is going to be so strong that it's not worth the strain on his mental. It's not worth what it does to see all that harassment. To be like, hey, maybe Izanagi might be a little too strong, or Div might be a little too strong, or Linears might be a little too strong. Or God forbid you say something like Loreley's trivializes the game, you know? And that, to me, is the biggest red flag. Dado is the guy. Dado is the face of Destiny, and I don't think anyone would disagree with that. He is who you think of when you think of a Destiny content creator. He is our liaison for Bungie. He's the ambassador for the community. And he's afraid to criticize the state of the game. I mean, a Destiny2 developer responded to saltagreppo and said, just don't use it. I can't find the tweet anymore because I think it was deleted. But a dev said that. And when we're at that point where criticism of the game is that decried, then we're too far gone. And, you know, listen, I'll put my foot down right now. I don't give a fuck if I have 5 viewers or 500,000 viewers. If something's wrong with the game, I'm going to point it out. And if you guys want to come at me over it, good. Guess what? I'm built for war, motherfucker. I am down. I will scrap on Twitter all day. I will argue with you until the heat death of the universe. Do not try me, alright? There is a reason my family members get annoyed with me on a constant basis. It's because I am down to argue. So if you want to scrap, let's scrap. This game is too easy. PvE is too easy. PvP has too many problems to even start. Div needs a nerf. Loreley needs a nerf. Linears need a nerf. Fuck you.